I really traveled Dominique's road with her as I read the book, and her journey is what changed my life, probably more directly, more immediately than any other single factor that I can name.
For Dominique, this is an act of mercy killing. This is an act of euthanasia, that Rourke must die at the hands of one who loves him, at the hands of one who understands and loves him, and quickly.
So I think part of what's so fascinating about her is that she's such an extreme example, both of someone who's really wrong in a deep way, and so virtuous and consistent in acting on her beliefs that she's able to correct herself.
The leitmotif of her character is, independence doesn't guarantee you truth. You can make errors. We're fallible beings, but independent judgment gives us a self-correcting mechanism.
She sort of started to loosen up a little bit on her malevolence, and to think that maybe, she saw how Rourke was actually getting to build and was surrounded by friends, right? There was this circle of friends that he had built up, and that this was his proudest achievement to date, and it seemed to be going really well, and she sort of lets herself relax a little bit, and then bam!
Gail Wynand in the field of journalism should be what Howard Rourke is in architecture. Rourke knows this, he sees it, he understands it. He wants Wynand to lose everything commercially, but reclaim his soul.
They provide each other with a unique visibility that neither of them gets from anybody else, including Dominique.
At the end of the novel, you're right, Josh. He's still alive, but morally, psychologically, he's finished.
I think the character who, for me, I feel almost the most sadness.
That makes me just sob with tears every time, I read it when he says, Gail, he says, I know, I understand. He said, if you come, he says, come back. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for me. If you delete your primary values from yourself, you delete yourself.
Keating is probably the client that I see the most in my work, and it in the context of self-esteem.
What Peter Keating needs to do is to hold on to the things that matter to him and to place them first, and not just for a minute, but always, to work toward them. And that's hard for him.
Peter Keating represents what so many people are being told from left, right, and center, that, you've got to work hard and be successful, but you've also got to do what everyone else wants you to do and not think of yourself, and that conflict going on.
As for those few seconds of ooh from the yokels, that Peter Keating sells the last element of his soul.
And I think that there's a kind of self-erasure which goes along with the addiction to TUI, the addiction to fame, the addiction to superficial success.
A woman who worked in corporate America, maybe she was in her 30s, she's reading The Fountainhead for the first time. She comes running into class, waving the copy. Her eyes are all wild, and she says to me, my boss is Peter Keating. She says.
Not only that he's faking the knowledge he doesn't have, but that the other person knows he's faking it, and on we go. From Ellsworth Tui's point of view, anyone else's prowess, success, goodness is something to be destroyed, is a target, and that's what he wants.
He lives like a virus inside, a spiritual virus inside the minds of other people. So it's understandable that he would crave, this kind of recognition for his being a genius.
Sometimes people have the idea that if someone doesn't want anything for himself, he has to be good. And once you meet Ellsworth Tui, you're going to be questioning that. Because here's someone who says he doesn't want anything for himself, and yet look, all he wants is, he wants everybody to be under his control. As soon as he saw this man, he thought, uh-oh, this one I can't control. And you know something? He still hasn't.
Wow, Rourke stands up for his own values, and he's not angry, he's not defiant, he's not fighting, he's not in conflict, he's just him.
Howard Rourke has clear goals, clear values, clear principles, and everything that he does and thinks and says is consistent with that.
He's the kind of guy who historically has figured out how to grow crops, who's figured out how to cure diseases, who's figured out how to make a wheel, who's figured out how to make weapons to hunt, woolly mastodons and so on. This is the guy, the kind of guy who can deal with reality and promote human life. You're human beings, just like me. You got eyes to see, you got a brain to understand. You don't have to, you don't have to follow the herd here. We're not sheep. Look, think, make your own judgment. I'm confident this is a masterpiece.